Yes, another great cup of coffee. Probably one of the best coffees that you can get in Mexico, right here in this cup. Hello, BookTube. My name is Juan. You know who I am. I am just one reader, your favorite Mexican booktuber par excellence, who reads weird things in English and occasionally sings after making and drinking a lot of coffee, which is probably not something you should do. It's not the wisest thing to do, to drink coffee and sing, because, vocal cords do not like coffee. Even this one, which is just such a delightful cup. Anyway, we are here for my wrap-up, my disastrous reading wrap-up for the month of August 2022, which is honestly, I shouldn't even talk about the books that I read in August, because I didn't really read anything in August. August was a shit month for me. In terms of reading, I couldn't really focus. Even when I had free time on my hands, I wasn't really focusing. I wasn't really reading the way that I like to read. Something happened in August and I was just not vibing, not in the mood for reading. You might call it a reading block or slog or what have you. Also, the books that I did try to read were just not good, or not good for me. They were not good fits for me. So the one book that I finished in August and that I did not really like was The Dragonbone Chair. The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams, which is book one of the trilogy Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. This was just not a successful reading experience for me. I really loved the beginning of the book. Very typical medieval sort of feeling fantasy, but then with some twists that I was really enjoying. The writing was fine. The character was really interesting. There was a creepy vibe that I was really into. And then the book just lost me. I don't know what it was. I think the story just lost me. I thought the writing was not as good. It was definitely good in some places, but then in some other places, I just really, I started losing interest, and by the end, I was just waiting for it to be over. However, this book might be for you. So if this sounds like your kind of fantasy, go and check out some other reviews for this book, because this book might be for you. But I didn't like it. I am not continuing on with this series, unfortunately. So I gave it like 2 stars. And then the other big book that I tried to read was Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. And this book is just laughable. A lot of people love this book, and I can sort of see why. Now, I will tell you that this book was a DNF for me. I DNF'd it at around page 200, and this is a long book, so I didn't read the big majority of this book. So I couldn't really review this book or attempt to really criticize it. But what I will say is that this man's writing style is just like, oh no, it's infuriatingly bad. It's cringy. It's ridiculous. It's bad. It's god-awful. Bad writing style. The story was fine. It was actually very interesting. The characters, very video gamey. Not the kind of fantasy that I enjoy, I think. So no, no. Moving on. So that's what I read in August, or what I tried to read. It was a very unsuccessful reading month for me. However, September is here. It's upon us. I am currently reading Under Major Domo Minor by Patrick DeWitt, which is sort of a gothic tale with some modern twists. I am currently reading it. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. It's the story of this guy, Lucy, who has a weird personality. I'm still not really understanding who this character really is, but he is coming to this castle to serve as an undermajor Domo. So he's the servant for the major domo of this castle, therefore the weird title. Anyway, so this is funny. It's sort of weird and ludicrous, but it has a vibe that I'm really enjoying. The other book that I'm currently reading right now is very different. It's Blonde by Joyce Carol Oates. This is a fictionalized account of the life of Marilyn Monroe, someone that I know nothing about. I don't know who Marilyn Monroe is or was. I know that she existed, but basically what I know is her image, which tells you a lot. It really, oh, yes, this coffee. This book is really interesting, even if you know nothing about who Marilyn Monroe was or what she did, just like I have no clue about her. This book is really interesting as a writing experiment. I think just formally, structurally, it's really interesting. And then I have 4 books that I will try to see how I feel about in the month of September. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I will really like them and I will finish all of them and I will love them all, but you never know. So I want to read Edgar Allan Poe. This is my copy, my beautiful big copy of his complete stories. And this is actually translated to Spanish, which you might be like, ooh, are you really going to read Edgar Allan Poe translated to another language? Yes, actually yes, because this translation is done by Julio Cortázar. Hello. So this is like the best translation of Edgar Allan Poe you can get, and I already had this copy. And I have read Edgar Allan Poe throughout my life, and I really, really, really like him. I really love the stories themselves. I love the writing. I love the vibe. I just adore what I have read. So I'm gonna try and hopefully start reading all of the stories slowly, little by little. But yeah, I really want to read the complete short stories of Edgar Allan Poe. Then I'm gonna go with the tried and true Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is why you shouldn't drink so much coffee. I'm gonna read the Chamber of Secrets in this beautiful edition. This is Harry Potter, Book 2. And I love the little quotes that each book in this new edition, which you can see right there. The editions, the Bloomsbury Adult New Editions, and they have this little quotes on the back. And in this one, it's Albus Dumbledore's quote, "It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." So I've always loved this book, The Chamber of Secrets. I know that many people rank this probably the lowest, but I've always thought this book is really creepy, but really funny as well. It has one of my favorite characters in the entire series, Gilderoy Lockhart. So I always really enjoy rereading this book. So that's a reread. And then because I am a serious reader and I take my reading diet very seriously, I want to read some serious things. The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. This is short. It has this interesting cover. I know nothing about the plot or the character or the synopsis, no clue, but I have deeply loved Elena Ferrante before when I read the Neapolitan Quartet, My Brilliant Friend, and so on. So I really want to see what this is all about. And then another book that I sort of want to read, although I don't know. It's sort of a maybe kind of book because it's quite long, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it or not. And if I don't like it, I might put it back on the shelf and read something else, at least for the time being. And that book is Skippy Dice. This is by Paul Murray. It's a book that I have been recommended many times. It's a book that is supposed to be funny, but also really sweet, and a coming-of-age story, which I love coming-of-age stories. But it's long. It's like 700 pages long, even though it doesn't look it. It is pretty long. So with these kinds of books, I'm just going, hoping to like it. But if I reach page 50 and I'm not vibing with it, I'm just gonna put it aside for the moment, and read something else, because I really need something to. I really need to read things in September that will make me feel very pumped about reading. So that's it. That's my video for today. It was sort of a wrap-up, failed, disastrous wrap-up, also a kind of TBR. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am just one reader, the Mexican booktuber par excellence, who drinks a lot of really sophisticated coffee and reads weird things in English and occasionally sings. Let's sing.
Hay un rayo de luz que entró por mi ventana y me ha devuelto las ganas, me quita el dolor. Tu amor es uno de esos que te cambia con un beso y te pone a volar. Mi pedazo de sol, la niña de mis ojos, tiene una colección de corazones rotos. Mi pedazo de sol, la niña de mis ojos, la que baila reggaetón con tacones rojos y me pone a volar, la que me hace llorar y que me hace sufrir, pero no paro de amar, porque me hizo sentir que gané la lotería. Antes de ella no sabía que alguien podía amarme así. Ah, 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 ah. El día que te conocí, lo sentí, me dejé llevar, me morí, reviví en el mismo bar. Solo entraba para emborracharme, no esperaba enamorarme de ti, ni tú de mí. Pasó así y así empezó nuestra historia. No falla mi memoria. Yo te dije, baby, ¿qué haces tú por aquí? Así empezó nuestra historia y te llevé pa' Colombia. Mi pedazo de sol, la niña de mis ojos, tiene una colección de corazones rotos. Mi pedazo de sol, la niña de mis ojos, la que baila reggaetón con tacones rojos y me pone a volar, la que me hace llorar y que me hace sufrir, pero no paro de amar, porque me hizo sentir que gané la lotería. Antes de ella no sabía que alguien podía amarme así. Ah.